So last couple Tuesdays, I've had an interesting event happen, and it has progressed into, this is pretty serious. So last Tuesday, well, let me explain this. Every Tuesday since I have moved here, I have heard the trash truck. There's a building across the street, and the trash truck backs into the building parking lot and picks up the dumpster about anywhere in between 3:30 and 4:30. Now, it used to be very consistently at 4:30, but now it's somewhere in that range. And it's just kind of a thing that I've gotten used to. Well, last week, I heard the trash truck, and normally I wake up to a conscious level when I hear the truck, but this time I knew it was the truck, and I thought, I'm going back to sleep. And it must have been, a little bit earlier than 4:30, so 3:30 or something, because I didn't have any interest in getting up just to make sure, like I do most times. So didn't think anything of it. Well, 6 o'clock rolls around, and that trash truck backs back into the parking lot, and I'm like, that's concerning. Now, the reason it's concerning to me is because a few years ago, the building across the street was vandalized. And the people who run the place asked me if I would watch over it. They installed cameras and all kinds of, the lights that kick on and voice activate, or a warning. A voice comes out of some speakers and says you're in I forget what it says, but regardless, it tells people to get away. So I was a little concerned that I missed the truck earlier, that something happened. Now in exchange for me watching it, they have allowed me to unload and load lawnmowers over there. It's pretty handy, and there's nothing illegal about it. I've looked. So when that truck pulled up at 6 o'clock, I was like, well, what was that truck over there at 4:30? Well, I didn't think anything of it. I just figured he was getting the trash, and I went back to work editing my videos. So, I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes later, I look out the window again, and that truck is still sitting there. The trash truck. Oh, this is just really strange. So, I got to thinking, well, maybe the truck is broken down and they're waiting for a tow truck. It could be anything. I mean, there's traffic that goes in and out of there all the time. Turn it around, people just looking at Google Maps, or, just all the time there's somebody over there. And it's actually quite frustrating, since I'm looking after the place, that I've always got to look out the window. And since people do drop off lawnmowers over there for me, I want to make sure that I don't miss any of my customers. But that's my problem. It's nobody else's problem. So about, 7:30 or so, a dump truck. A single axle dump truck. It's not a very big one. I don't know how to explain them. It's like you could put different attachments on the back of the truck. It's like maybe a flatbed, dually, single axle thing, and they put a dump on it. Anyway, this thing pulls up and backs up to the dump truck. Now the dump truck thing, I said backs up to the trash truck. The dump truck thing is full of trash bags, just full. And they start transferring the trash. So I message the people who run that building, and I explained to them what's going on, and they were like, does this happen all the time? I said, no. And it stirred up a conversation through Messenger about how much traffic goes on over there. I mean, the county assessor sits there, everybody sits there, people park their campers over there and start eating lunch. So, I mean, there's just a ton of people over there all the time, just hanging out, loitering. So I suggested that they get a no loitering, how do you pronounce that? Loitering sign. And so they said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So the sign was put up the other day, no loitering, police enforced. And it's quite visible. I can see it from the house. And it actually has reduced the amount of traffic that is over there within a week. I mean, it's like almost none now. I mean, people still turn around, which isn't a big deal, but as far as people just hanging out over there, it didn't happen last week. It did the week before, so, you know, trying to give the sign some credit here. But the trash truck showed back up this morning, Tuesday morning. So this time, when the trash truck came at 3:30 or 4:30, whatever time it was, I got up and I looked just to make sure it was the trash truck, to make sure I didn't miss anything last week. And then, of course, at 6 o'clock, it backed back up. Now, this is a whole new thing. So I started taking pictures of it because I'm like, what is going on? This is kind of strange. So then I got curious. Why would a company do this? Why would they park in somebody's parking lot without permission? Because the people who run the place at least pretended. I'm not saying they are lying or anything. I'm just saying if they are lying, they sure did fool me and pretended they had no idea why the trash company or anybody else is parked in the driveway or parking lot. They just don't, that's news to them. They're not there that often. You know, maybe once a month, maybe. Over the summer, I don't think they were there at all. So it's not something they have to monitor all the time. Well, I do believe, you know, once when it was vandalized, they put cameras up, but I do believe they have stopped monitoring it with cameras. I guess it costs money. Or the other thing is I think they've gotten rid of their Wi-Fi over there to save some money. But anyway, that's beside the point. So they put it in the laundry side. So here it is this morning. So I asked Google, why? Because I just didn't understand it. It seemed like this is a huge waste of money. I mean, here you are. You got a trash truck and 2 dump trucks full of trash, dumping trash, or transferring trash, I should say, from one truck to the other truck. And there's 6 guys, and 2 of them just hanging out not doing anything. I just couldn't figure it out. So I asked why. Why would they do this on Google? And Google said, why would a trash company illegally transfer trash from one truck to the next? Well, I didn't say anything about it being illegal. Not a word. But Google interpreted as an illegal activity, so I started reading. It is illegal to transfer trash from one truck to another truck on an undesignated transfer area. These trucks have to go to a specific area to transfer trash, which actually kind of made sense to me because a long time ago, I took trash to a dump site near Mexico, Missouri. And you actually had to back into this huge building. The garbage trucks did, everybody did. It was a huge building with the front wall opened, concrete floor, and you dumped it, they threw it into the back wall, and I guess this front end loader would pick up the trash and take it to its appropriate spots, or, you know, whatever the case is. But it made sense once I was reading this that you have to take it to a specific permitted area, the place that has the permits to do this transfer. Well, the reason they're doing it is because it costs too much money to do it. You know, to run the trucks all the way to this location and then transfer it, or you know, just all kinds of stuff. So I'm really starting to think it's crazy. And no matter how I ask the question, it's illegal in Missouri. Well, probably most everywhere would be my guess, but definitely in Missouri, it is illegal to transfer trash from one truck to another truck without the required permits on a specific business area of dumping trash or transferring trash. So I hadn't done a ton of research on this. I'm just telling you what Google is coming back with. And they got references and Missouri statutes, you know, that you can read. And of course, that's always confusing. So I'm just trusting that Google has transferred it correctly, or, you know, translated it correctly. So I called the lady. Well, I mean, excuse me, I messaged the lady. And I explained that I got pictures and everything. And she's like, well, I mean, you know, her concern was that these trucks are going to tear up her drive, her pavement. And she doesn't want that tore up because the trash truck has damaged the property just backing up to get the trash for them. So she couldn't imagine all these trucks running in all day long. But she said, you know, it may be worth it if they would let me get my trash service for free. I could just let them do it. And I said, but it's illegal. And I said, I even Googled that if you knowingly allow them to do that, or you know that it's happening, that you can be fined $20,000. So even the owner of the property, and she's like, whoa, wait a minute, back up. What are you telling me? This is illegal? It's not just, the trespassing issue or something? I said, yeah. So I took snapshots, screenshot shots, everything that I had found from 6 o'clock until she contacted me at 8. And I had pictures of them transferring the trash from one truck to the other, and I sent her all the pictures. So she says she's going to call the company and say, knock it off. But I don't know how effective that's going to be. Are they actually going to knock it off? I mean, last week, I just jumped up on the back of my truck to see what was going on over there. Just curiosity. Why is there two trash truck and a couple dump trucks over there transferring trash? And when they pulled out, the guy in the passenger of the trash truck flipped me off. And I was like, why are you flipping me off? I really didn't understand what I had done wrong, but it was obvious he was mad that I guess I got on the back of the truck, but they flipped me off later. Not while I was standing in the back of the truck. They flipped me off. I was probably making coffee or something, or taking the dogs out, and they flipped me off. So now I know why they flipped me off, because what they're doing is illegal. So I'm concerned. I'm hoping that the people who run that building over there didn't by chance give them permission without really realizing it was illegal, like me. If somebody would have asked me, I may have said, sure, why not? Or if, you get something free out of the deal, like free dumpster service, I may have said, sure, why not? I mean, I didn't see the harm in it. Now I do. Now I get it. I mean, all that liquid that could dump out onto the ground, there's actually a name for it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I didn't really pronounce it right when I was reading it. That can get into the groundwater, and it's got all kinds of terrible stuff. Can have lead and mercury, listeria, salmonella, all of it. It's just a soup of contamination. And those trash trucks are supposed to be all sealed up, and trash is supposed to be in compactor trash trucks, not dump trucks, unless it's like construction material. But if it's residential trash, it's supposed to. And I know what kind of garbage people put in their garbage. I mean, dog droppings, think about it. You take your dog out to the park, you pick up the waste with those little bags in your glove, and you tie it up, and what do? You throw it away. Heck, nomads tie up their own waste and throw it away. So, it can be pretty disgusting. If that's getting into the groundwater, well, that absolutely makes sense. Well, they're not supposed to be transferring it in dump trucks. That's supposed to be illegal. What I don't understand is when I asked Google how likely is it that a trash company would do this, they said it's very unlikely, highly unlikely, or something. It's just extremely unlikely. Because if they get caught, it's huge fines. They could lose their licenses, that kind of stuff. It's more likely that they've got a new driver who has decided that he doesn't want to drive all over town, so he told his other guys, just bring it over here, and we're going to take a nap while you collect that trash, or something, something to that effect. So if they show up next week, I will go ahead and call the people I'm supposed to call, Missouri Department of, I don't know, something, and I'll call them, or I'll call the sheriff, and I'll just have them come out and deal with it. If nothing else, they're not supposed to be over there. There is a sign posted that said no loitering, so I can at least get them off of there for loitering, have them trespassed off the property. At a minimum, that's what I originally didn't understand. Why are they doing this without permission? Why would you just park on property that you didn't ask permission? And the way those people that I talked to last week, to run that place, they sure didn't think. I mean, I sure didn't get the sense that they knew anything about this. They were seemed to me that they were really surprised by it. So, I don't know. I just can't imagine why a company in today's age would do something so blatantly, obviously illegal. Google, it's easy for anybody just to Google something. And it was better to flip me off to make me mad to figure out what they were doing the next week than it was just, pretend like nothing was going on. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over my other channel, I'd appreciate it if you go check it out. So if I can inspire you to do your research to find out if somebody's doing something illegal. Sing, live your dreams. Thanks for watching.